After the age of 60, something shifts. Life slows down just enough for us to truly notice the beauty in everyday moments. A quiet morning light, the laughter of a grandchild, the peace of not having to rush anywhere. We are no longer building for the future. We are living it. And every choice we make, especially about how we spend our time, our energy, and our money, begins to feel more important than ever before. But sometimes, without realizing it, we hold on to habits that used to serve us in our younger years. But now, they quietly hold us back. Habits that drain our savings. Habits that steal our peace. Habits that make our golden years heavier than they need to be. So today, I want to speak to you, woman to woman, about the spending traps that often sneak into our lives after 60. Not to judge, not to criticize, but to gently invite you to take a fresh look, because you deserve a life that feels light, free, and fully yours. If even one of these stories feels familiar, I want you to know something. You are not alone. Every wise woman I know is still learning, still growing, still figuring things out, and that is something to be proud of. So, take a deep breath, make yourself a warm cup of tea, and let us have a heart-to-heart conversation about the small choices that can quietly change everything. 1. The illusion of designer labels. Let us start with something many of us have fallen for at some point in our lives: expensive brand-name clothing. For decades, many women believed that elegance was something we wore, that a well-known label somehow meant we were worth more, respected more, seen more clearly. We bought the blouses, the handbags, the shoes, and for a while it made sense. In the office, at social events, even in family gatherings, looking polished helped us feel strong. Let me tell you about Helen. She is 68 years old and lives in a quiet neighborhood in Pennsylvania. Helen used to love fashion. Chanel, Coach, Nordstrom, those brands filled her closet. Every morning, she would take her time selecting just the right outfit, carefully matching earrings and scarves, making sure everything was just so. But something shifted after retirement. One morning, Helen stood in front of her full closet and asked herself, "Who am I getting dressed for now?" Her days were slower, more gentle. She was baking with her grandchildren, tending to her garden, volunteering at the local library. None of those moments asked her to wear $300 shoes. What they asked for was her presence, her warmth, her comfort. Today, Helen still dresses beautifully, but her favorite clothes are simple, and easy to move in. She says the best thing she wears now is her own smile, and she means it. Because here is the truth. Real elegance comes from within. It is in the way you make someone feel when they are near you. It is in your voice when you tell a story. It is in the way your eyes light up when your grandchild walks in the room. You do not need a designer label to be worthy. You already are. So the next time you feel the pull to buy something flashy or expensive, pause for a moment. Ask yourself if it adds joy or just cost. You might be surprised how much lighter you feel when you choose comfort, confidence, and authenticity over status. 2. The pressure to upgrade technology. Let us talk about something sneaky: the pressure to always upgrade to the latest technology. Phones, tablets, smartwatches. New models come out every year, promising faster speeds, better cameras, and features we are told we cannot live without. And it is tempting, right? The ads are everywhere. They make it sound like we are missing out if we do not keep up. Let me share Ruth's story. She is 72 and lives in Oregon. Ruth has always been independent and tech-savvy. When the new phone came out, the one with the fancy camera and the titanium body, she thought, why not? So she spent over $1,000 on a phone she hoped would make life easier, but it didn't. Instead, it made her feel frustrated and overwhelmed. The buttons were different, the menus were confusing, and she missed calls she didn't even know she had. All she really wanted was to FaceTime her daughter and see pictures of her new great-grandbaby. Her old phone could have done that just. Technology is supposed to serve us, not stress us out. And here's the bigger truth. Newer does not always mean better, especially when the device you already own is still working well and doing exactly what you need it to do. Ruth eventually returned the new phone and went back to her old one. Now, she feels more in control, more at peace. She uses it to connect, not to chase updates. If you find yourself feeling the pressure to upgrade, take a step back. Ask yourself, what do I actually use this for? If it still works and it still serves your needs, let that be enough. You are not behind. You are wise. And wisdom means knowing the difference between what you want and what you truly need. 3. The weight of credit card interest. Now, let's talk about something that often goes unnoticed, but can quietly weigh on your heart and your bank account. Credit card interest. For many of us, credit cards started as a convenience. A dinner here, a gift there, a quick fix for a car repair. But over time, that balance can build, and before you know it, you are paying hundreds, even thousands of dollars just in interest. Not on things you're enjoying today, but on things that are long gone. Joanne, a 70-year-old widow from Florida, knows this feeling all too well. She spent most of her life being careful with money, but after her husband passed, she started using her credit card more often. A little online shopping to distract from the loneliness, sending gifts to her grandkids, fixing up the house. Nothing extravagant, but it added up. One day, Joanne sat down to review her finances and realized she had paid over $9,000 in interest in just 2 years. Her heart sank. That money could have helped with medical bills, home repairs, or even a well-deserved trip with her sister. But Joanne did not let guilt take over. She got to work. She called her bank, set up a payment plan, and started making small, consistent payments. She sold a few things she no longer needed, and most importantly, she forgave herself. Because learning is part of living. Debt is not just a number, it is a feeling. It can keep you up at night. It can make you feel stuck, anxious, even ashamed. But it does not have to define your story. You are not alone. So many women carry this quiet burden, thinking they have to fix it all themselves. But there is help. There are tools. And there is always a way forward. The less you owe, the lighter you feel. And the lighter you feel, the more joy you can carry. You deserve that joy, and you can have it. 4. The silent drain of unused subscriptions. There is a quiet little trick that companies use. They count on us forgetting. They count on us signing up for something, maybe during a free trial or on a whim, and then never going back to cancel it. Over time, these tiny charges, $9 here, $15 there, slowly add up. Margaret, age 66 from Texas, knows how this happens. During the pandemic, she signed up for every streaming service under the sun: Netflix, Hulu, Disney+, even a few fitness apps. At the time, it felt comforting. Having all those options felt like control, like she was doing something good for herself. But months later, she noticed something. She was watching the same 2 shows, reruns of her favorite old mysteries and a weekly cooking program, both of which were available for free on regular TV or online. The rest? She was paying for them, but never opening the apps. Margaret did the math and realized she was spending over $90 a month. That's more than $1,000 a year, just on subscriptions she barely used. That realization hit her hard. She thought about what she could have done with that money. A weekend trip with her sister, extra savings for emergencies, or even just a few nice dinners out. But here is the good news. It is not too late to take back control. Margaret went through her statements, made a list of every subscription she had, and canceled all but one. Now she rotates her services, using only 1 or 2 each month, depending on what she really enjoys. She also discovered something wonderful. Her local library card gave her free access to thousands of movies and documentaries through an app called Canopy. No fees, no hidden charges, just stories that made her laugh, cry, and think. You see, we are told we need more to feel entertained, but the truth is, less can be so much more. When you are not overwhelmed by choices, you can actually enjoy the ones you do make. So if you have not looked at your subscriptions lately, now might be the time. You might find yourself breathing a little easier when you do. Not because of the money saved, but because you're choosing what really matters. 5. The cost of chasing the jackpot. Every Wednesday and Saturday night, a quiet hope rises in millions of homes. Numbers are picked, tickets are held close, and for a moment, it feels like anything is possible. But let us be honest, especially with ourselves, lottery tickets are not a retirement plan. They are a dream we keep paying for, long after we have forgotten how much it costs. Dolores, age 65 from Ohio, used to play Powerball every week. It was just a few dollars here and there, $10 on payday, sometimes $20 if the jackpot was especially big. For her, it wasn't even about the money. It was about possibility. She imagined paying off her mortgage, helping her children, traveling the world, and every time she lost, she told herself, maybe next time. But after 5 years of playing faithfully, Dolores sat down and did something she had never done before. She added up all the tickets she had purchased. The total shocked her. Over $5,000. Not including scratch-offs, not including the extra tickets she bought when jackpots grew. $5,000. Gone. And what did she have to show for it? A small collection of losing stubs and a little regret. She realized that she had been buying hope, but it was a hope that never delivered. So she made a new decision. Instead of chasing luck, she would build something real. Now, every week, instead of spending $10 on lottery tickets, she transfers that amount into a special savings jar labeled Future Joy. She has used it to take a pottery class, to join a local day trip with friends, and to buy small gifts for her grandchildren, things that bring her immediate joy, not empty promises. Here is the truth no one tells us. We are already rich in the ways that count. In love, in wisdom, in experience. That is the kind of wealth no ticket can give and no number can match. If you are still buying tickets, I invite you to pause. Ask yourself, what do I really want from this? Is there another way to bring that dream to life without waiting on a jackpot that may never come? Because the life you want is not one. It is built, one small, wise choice at a time. 6. The true cost of food delivery convenience. There is something undeniably easy about food delivery. A few taps on a screen, and dinner arrives at your door. No dishes, no prep, no effort, just convenience. But over time, convenience comes with a cost. Not just financial, but emotional, physical, and personal. Linda, a 63-year-old from California, found herself relying on delivery more and more after her husband passed away. At first, it was a relief. Cooking for one felt lonely, and it was easier to let someone else do it. She would order takeout 4, sometimes 5 times a week. Thai food, burgers, pasta, whatever sounded good in the moment. But a year later, during a checkup, her doctor told her something that startled her. Her blood pressure was rising. Her weight had crept up, and worst of all, she felt tired. Not just physically, but emotionally. So Linda sat down and reviewed her spending. She had spent more than $3,000 in a year, not on gourmet meals, but on food that was high in sodium, low in nutrients, and eaten alone in front of a television. That was her wake-up call. So she made a promise to herself. $300. home-cooked meals a week. Nothing fancy, just real food, prepared with care. Soup, roasted vegetables, grilled chicken, things her body recognized, things her heart remembered from simpler times. And something beautiful happened. She began to enjoy the process, the smell of garlic and olive oil, the rhythm of chopping onions, the quiet pride of setting a table for herself, not because anyone was watching, but because she mattered. She started inviting her neighbor over once a week for lunch. They shared stories, recipes, laughter. Her health improved. So did her spirit. Delivery has its place, of course. There is nothing wrong with convenience now and then. But when it becomes the norm, we lose something deeper. The connection to what nourishes us, inside and out. Cooking is not just about food. It is about love, rhythm, memory. It is about saying to yourself, I am worth the effort. And you are. Always. 7. The guilt of unused exercise equipment. We start with the best intentions. A new year. A birthday resolution. A little voice inside us saying, this time, I'll really do it. So we buy the equipment, the fancy treadmill, the shiny weights, the bike that costs more than our first car. We imagine ourselves stronger, healthier, glowing with energy. But then, life happens. Let me tell you about Nancy. She is 69 and lives in a quiet cul-de-sac in Georgia. Last spring, she bought a top-of-the-line elliptical machine. It looked beautiful in her living room, full of promise. For 2 weeks, she used it daily. And then, like so many of us, she got busy. A family visit, a sore knee, a change in schedule. The elliptical sat there untouched. Then came the guilt. Every time she passed it, she felt a little nudge of shame, not just for the money spent, but for what she thought it said about her, that she gave up, that she failed. But Nancy is not alone. So many women buy into the idea that expensive equipment is the key to lasting change, and when we do not use it, we blame ourselves. Here is the truth. It is not about the machine. It never was. Your body does not need $2,000 worth of metal to be strong. What it needs is movement, joyful, consistent, loving movement. A walk around the block, gentle stretching on the porch, dancing in the kitchen to your favorite oldies. So Nancy gave herself permission to let go. She sold the elliptical to a neighbor who really wanted it. Then, she joined a local walking group that meets twice a week at the park. No pressure, no equipment. Just women, shoes, and fresh air. And you know what? She is happier. She moves more. She sleeps better. Not because she spent money, but because she made space for habits that feel good. If you have a piece of equipment collecting dust in your home, let me say this gently. You do not need to feel bad. You are not lazy. You're human. And you deserve movement that fits your life. Not guilt that takes up space in your living room. 8. The empty promise of overpriced courses. There is something tempting about personal growth courses. A promise to help you discover your purpose, to unlock happiness, to finally find that missing piece. And sometimes, those courses are beautiful, helpful, and worth the investment. But other times, they are just expensive. Barbara, age 71 from Minnesota, knows this story well. After retiring from a long career in nursing, she felt a strange silence in her life. The structure was gone. The sense of purpose she once had, waking up, helping people, making a difference, had faded. So when she saw an ad online for a coaching program that promised to rediscover your inner fire, she signed up. It cost over $4,000. But she told herself, this will be worth it. For months, she attended Zoom calls, filled out worksheets, joined online forums, and while some of it felt inspiring, something always felt a little off. When the course ended, Barbara looked at her notes and realized something. The answers they gave her were things she already knew. The lessons? Things she had lived through and survived decades ago. That was her light bulb moment. She did not need to pay someone to tell her who she was. She already knew. Barbara stopped searching outward and started turning inward. She joined a book club at her local library. She volunteered at a women's shelter once a week. She began mentoring a younger woman who had just lost her mother. And that was when she felt her purpose return, not because someone sold it to her, but because she gave it freely. You see, the richest growth does not come from big price tags. It comes from connection, from contribution, from listening to our own wisdom and sharing it with others. If you are feeling lost, remember this: you do not need fixing. You are not broken. You are evolving. And that process takes time, kindness, and real-life community. Not a credit card. The greatest course you can ever take is the one called life. And my friend, you have already passed with honors. 9. The hidden cost of buying a brand new car. Let us talk about one of the biggest purchases many of us make, and how it can quietly drain our finances without offering much more in return. Buying a brand new car. Now, there is nothing wrong with wanting a comfortable, reliable vehicle, especially in retirement. Safety matters. Comfort matters. But what does not always make sense is paying top dollar for something that starts losing value the moment you drive it off the lot. Edith, age 75 from Illinois, had always driven used cars. But when her old sedan finally gave out, she thought, I deserve something new. So she went to the dealership and bought a brand new SUV, fresh off the lot, fully loaded, with monthly payments that made her wince. At first, she loved it. The new car smell, the smooth ride, the compliments. But over time, reality set in. After just 1 year, her car had already lost more than 30% of its value. Thousands of dollars gone. And because she was now on a tighter budget, she found herself cutting back in other areas. No weekend getaways, no spontaneous lunches with friends, just a shiny car sitting in her driveway. Edith eventually traded the car in for a certified pre-owned vehicle. 2 years old, low mileage, still under warranty. She cut her payments in half and used the extra money to take a train trip through the Rockies, something she had always wanted to do. That trip brought her more joy than any new vehicle ever could. Here is what she learned. We do not need to impress anyone anymore. We do not need to chase status. We need peace of mind. And sometimes, peace means choosing something practical, simple, and smart. If you are thinking about getting a new car, pause. Ask yourself what you really need. There are so many reliable, affordable options that let you keep your freedom without sacrificing your financial future. The destination matters so much more than the car that gets you there. You've made it to the end. And I just want to say, thank you. Thank you for giving yourself the time to listen, to reflect, and to gently ask, is there something here I'm ready to let go of? Because letting go is not about loss. It is about making room. Room for more freedom, more calm, more of the moments that truly matter, the ones that do not come with a price tag but stay in our hearts forever. Maybe today, you saw yourself in Helen or Ruth or Nancy. Maybe a part of their story felt just a little too familiar. If so, know this: you are not alone. We are all figuring this out as we go. And every wise woman I've ever known has made a few choices she later outgrew. That is not failure. That is growth. At this stage of life, we are not here to impress. We are here to feel light, to live true, to walk with peace in our hearts and kindness in our hands. So whether it is an old spending habit, a little financial fear, or a belief that no longer serves you, today might just be the perfect time to release it. Let yourself breathe. Let yourself begin again. And now, I'd love to hear from you. Was there a moment in today's video that really spoke to you? A shift you're ready to make? Share it in the comments. Not just for you, but for someone else who might need that little spark of courage too. And if this brought you even a small bit of clarity or comfort, I hope you will pass it on. Send it to a friend, a sister, a neighbor, someone you love. Because this journey, this chapter of life, it is far too precious to walk through alone. Until next time, take gentle care of yourself. Spend wisely, live freely, and always remember, the most beautiful investment you can make is in the life that still lies ahead.